Hello friends, welcome back to our channel IT India. This video is related to AWS Solution Architect certification preparation, and this is going to be part 24th of this series. And let's start this video with our first question of this video. A company stores user data in AWS. The data is used continuously with peak usage during business hours. Access patterns vary, with some data not being used for months at a time. A solution architect must choose a cost-effective solution that maintains the highest level of durability while maintaining high availability. Which storage solution meet this requirement? And here are the options. Try to guess the answer, as it may be quite obvious for you. And the correct answer here is option B, Amazon S3 intelligent tiering. Because intelligent tiering moves data between storage classes based on its current degree of usage. So option B here is absolutely correct. Now question number 232. A company receives inconsistent service from its data center provider because the company is headquartered in an area affected by natural disasters. The company is not ready to fully migrate to AWS cloud, but it wants a failover environment on AWS. In case the on-premises data center fails, the company runs web servers that connect to external vendors. The data available on AWS and on-premises must be uniform. Which solution should a solution architect recommend that has the least amount of the downtime? And here are the options. Take your time to guess the answer. So let me reveal the correct answer here, and the correct answer here is option A, configure an Amazon Route 53 failover record, run application server on Amazon EC2 instances behind an application load balancer in an auto-scaling group. Set up AWS storage gateway with stored volumes to back up the data to Amazon S3. So there could be multiple factors on which you can select the answer, but here I am going to share the clue with you. Very first clue is that it must has least amount of downtime. So this is very first clue, and due to which our options B, C and D are eliminated, because it will take some time to deploy the resources if we are using CloudFormation template, and here we already have Amazon EC2 instances, so it will take least time and it will have least downtime. So option A is correct here. Rest, it is absolutely required. Configure an Amazon Route 53 failover record, but this is available in all the 4 options, so we can't select on the basis of this. So yeah, on the basis of CloudFormation template, rest 3 options are eliminated, due to which option A is correct here. Now question number 233. A company has 3 VPCs named development, testing, production in the US East 1 region. The 3 VPCs need to be connected to an on-premises data center and are designed to separate to maintain security and prevent any resource sharing. A solution architect need to find a scalable and secure solution. What solution should a solution architect recommend? And here are the options. Try to guess the answer. And the correct answer here is option D. Create a new VPC called network. Within the network VPC, create an AWS transit gateway with an AWS direct connect connection back to data center. Attach all the other VPC to the network VPC. Because with AWS transit gateway, you can simplify the connectivity between multiple VPCs and also connect to any VPC attached to AWS transit gateway with a single VPN connection. And now question number 234. What should a solution architect do to ensure that all the objects uploaded to an Amazon S3 bucket are encrypted? And here are the options. Try to guess the answer. Let me reveal the correct answer. And the correct answer here is update the bucket policy to deny if the object does not have an X-AMZ server side encryption header set. So correct answer is this one, and I will share a reference document from AWS itself in the description of this video. You can refer that as well. And now question number 235. A company needs a secure connection between its own premises environment and AWS. This connection does not need high bandwidth and will handle a small amount of traffic. The connection should be set up quickly. What is the most cost-effective method to establish this type of connection? And here are the options. And the correct answer here will be, you can pause the video if you want. And the correct answer here will be option D, implement an AWS site-to-site VPN connection. And clue is here, does not need high bandwidth. So limited bandwidth site-to-site VPN connection is cheaper than direct connect. So option D is absolutely correct here. We have to find such clues like what is the most important priority of the question, like, and what is the requirement. So most effective is the requirement. It could be highly available, it could be most reliable, it could be anything. We have to answer on the basis of that only. And now question number 236. A company uses application load balancer in different AWS region. The ALBs receive inconsistent traffic that can spike and drop throughout the year. The company's networking team need to allow the IP addresses of the ALBs in the on-premises firewall to enable connectivity. Which solution is the most scalable with minimal configuration changes? And here are the options. Take your time to guess the correct answer. Let me reveal the correct answer for you. If you still haven't gone through all the options, please pause the video. Option C is correct here. Launch AWS Global Accelerator. Register the ALBs in different region to the accelerator. Update the on-premises firewalls rules to allow static IP addresses associated with the accelerator. Because using AWS Global Accelerator, you can have a static IP for whitelisting on firewalls. No need to replace ALB with NLB. You can associate these addresses to regional AWS resources or endpoints such as application load balancer or network load balancer. So basically overall in this question what we are doing, we are providing a static IP address using Global Accelerator, so that we are not supposed to change the IP all the time in the firewall of the organization. So option C is absolutely correct here. And now question number 237. A company runs a high performance computing workload on AWS. The workload required low latency network performance and high network throughput with tightly coupled node to node communication. The Amazon EC2 are properly sized for compute and storage capacity and are launched using default options. What should a solution architect propose to improve the performance of the workload? And here are the options. You have already done this question, but the language of the question may be different this time. But yeah, you should try to answer and hopefully you will be able to answer this question. And the correct answer here is option A. Choose a cluster placement group while launching Amazon EC2 instances, because it can improve your network performance and communication much better than any other. And the requirement of the question is low latency network performance and high network throughput, and it can increase both and with tightly coupled node to node communication. So all these refer to cluster placement group. In case it would have asked for better availability, then you should have gone for spread placement group. Spread placement. So this is the difference between these two. And now question number 238. A company uses a legacy on-premise analytics application that operates on gigabytes of .csv files and represents months of data. The legacy application cannot handle the growing size of .csv files New .csv files are added daily from various data sources to a central on-premises storage. The company wants to continue to support the legacy application while users learn AWS Analytics services. To achieve this, a solution architect wants to maintain two synchronized copies of all the .csv files on premises and in Amazon S3. Which solution should the solution architect recommend? And here are the options. You can go through all the options, take your time. And the correct answer here will be option B. Deploy an on-premises file gateway, configure data sources to write the .csv files to the file gateway, point the legacy analytics application to the file gateway. The file gateway should replicate the .csv file to Amazon S3. And it is correct here because you can't use data sync here, because you need to schedule task for data sync to do continuous transfer, where storage gateway does it automatically. And keyword in the question is synchronized copies. You can have a look here. Synchronized copies are required, so option B is absolutely correct here. And now question number 239. A company has a media and application files that need to be shared internally. Users currently are authenticated using Active Directory and access files from a Microsoft Windows platform. The Chief Executive Officer wants to keep the same user permissions but want the company to improve the process as the company is reaching its storage capacity limit. What should a solution architect recommend? And here are the options. And it could be quite easy for you, and you can try to guess the correct answer. And the correct answer here will be option B. Configure Amazon FSx for Windows file server and move all the media and application files. Whenever you see in the question Microsoft Windows platform, just go for Amazon FSx Windows file server and move all the media and application there. It is the correct answer here. And now question number 240. A company is developing a web portal. The company wants to ensure that only the web portion of the application is publicly accessible. To accomplish this, the VPC was designed with two public subnet and two private subnet. The application will run on several Amazon EC2 instances in an auto-scaling group. SSL termination must be offloaded from EC2 instances. What should a solution architect do to ensure these requirements are met? And here are the options. Try to guess the answer. Let me reveal the correct answer for you. And the correct answer here is option C. Configure the application load balancer in the public subnet, configure the auto scaling group in the private subnet, and associate it with the application load balancer. Because internet facing application load balancer and classic ELB must be provisioned exclusively in public subnet only. So it is the prime requirement here, and due to which option C is correct here, because application load balancer cannot be in private subnet. So this was all in this video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great learning and please do subscribe our channel IT India.